Feeling safe should not depend on how far you live from the nearest police station. That is why the government is establishing 30 new police posts across Trinidad and Tobago. Each police post will bring police and military personnel closer to the communities they serve.
They will cover major roads, transport routes, busy junctions, and other important locations. They will support existing police stations, strengthen patrols, and widen the national security network.
That means more trained officers available to protect communities and respond when citizens need help. The purpose is simple: stronger presence, faster access to assistance, and greater confidence in public spaces.
New recruits are joining the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and more officers are coming.
30 police posts, more police officers, one connected national network protecting you and your family.
Promises made, promises kept.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has announced the establishment of 30 joint army police posts in communities across the country in the upcoming 4 months. In a social media post, the Prime Minister explained that the joint army police posts will provide a sense of comfort and help communities regain the use of their public spaces, where she said for many years communities requested initiatives like these. Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar revealed 24 proposed locations, with 6 more to be determined. Some of the proposed locations are Taruba Flyover, Grand Bazaar Interchange, Kuva Interchange, Kelly Village, Carney, Etihad Grounds, Tunapuna, Ikakas Junction, Lady Young Road near the walkover, and the junction of Tamina Road and Komoto Road. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar encouraged NGOs, business chambers, community groups and councils to adopt and support these posts and work with the security services.
"82 murders recorded in Trinidad and Tobago this year came from altercations, revenge attacks, and domestic disputes, not organized gang warfare. According to figures cited by the Prime Minister, altercations accounted for 40 murders, revenge for 30, and domestic disputes for 12. Since 2024, altercations, revenge, and domestic disputes have been linked to 371 lives lost. Many began as everyday disagreements that escalated beyond control. Some erupted suddenly, fueled by anger, jealousy, alcohol, or drugs. A few seconds of lost control created permanent consequences for entire families. Gang violence can be attacked differently. Security services can identify criminal networks, locate weapons, target known offenders, and disrupt planned activity. The figures show progress. Gang-related murders fell from 273 in 2024 to 122 in 2025 and 78 so far this year. That decline shows the impact of stronger national security operations under the state of emergency. But police cannot make personal choices for citizens. Years ago, the Archbishop of Port of Spain asked where all this anger was coming from and how ordinary citizens were helping to increase it. The country is reducing gang violence. Saving more lives now requires restraint, forgiveness, and the courage to walk away. Let love have the last word.
Small water. Yeah, but passing. Opening the start. I say opening the start. Quick. Send. Quick.
Public disorder outside extra foods, Shagwanas.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Dr. Mirage. We have our sister Fazia out of Canada. It's been a while that we were able to get her, and Mr. Suman Singh is here. And we continue discussion on the crime situation, the government efforts to kind of subdue the crime, and as we've seen recently, the opposition from the opposition on the government efforts. I mean, we saw Minister Khadija Amin discussing the behavior and conduct of the chairman of the Tanupuna Regional Corporation, where he tried to attempt to obstruct the installation of a police post in an area that is highly critical and absolutely needed. So I want to welcome everyone to the program, and our sister, especially Fazia, we haven't had here in a long time. So welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Gary. Hi, Dr. Mirage. Sumant, I'm happy to be
Hi.
here after so long. Nice to see all of you.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard back. Welcome, Doc.
Yeah,
Gary, if I may kick off things, we see a lot of opposition for this initiative. And I don't know why. It is about, the topic is about security and security for all, not only in certain areas, but for everybody in TNT. But apparently, the PNM, in the PNM strongholds, they do not want this type of police post. In fact, they do not want any sort of security measures to be implemented because that will curb their nefarious activities, So I don't know. I'm seeing where the opposition is vehemently against this initiative. Another thing is that I believe that this initiative should also be linked strategically with, fast processing of justice. Because it makes no sense to clog the system up with more and more detainees, and at the end you may just have to release them because you have to feed these suckers for the duration of 3 square meals doing nothing. And so the justice system must be able to complement these people when you hold them, detainees and the offenders. So it's a two-pronged thing, in my view, that needs addressing. But at the present moment, the opposition and the opposition areas, constituencies, are the ones against this initiative, and for their own security. I can't imagine how stupid someone can be. And this is being pushed. This is being pushed by the representative and the MPs in these areas, these PNM MPs. So I don't know, Doc, what's your view on it? But this is my take on it.
Yeah, but picking up from where we left on the last day, I was saying Trinidad is divided into two groups of people: those who are sympathetic to the victims and those who sympathetic to the wrongdoers,
Yes, yes.
whether alleged or otherwise. And you could see exactly where the line is drawn.
Mhm.
So we I was telling you, the UNC need to really buckle down themselves and understand what is happening around them, and do not get trapped into any kind of racial profiling, any kind of racial thing that that the PNM will be throwing at you. This is how they live. This is how they get. This is how they win. So we think about having these. We said something, like I said, to repeat again. We said to flood the streets with police a long time ago. I mean, they don't have enough, but the supplement with the army would help. And the model I talked about then was the Carnival model, where you flood the street with all kind of people, and even usurp the social the infrastructure services like TNTech and departments of work. Use their vehicles at night because they don't have enough vehicles. So all those things could be done, because you have to drastic crime situation calls for drastic measures. And you cannot use the same old that you're having, changing commission and have them acting. The policies of the PNM of the past number of years was not working. And everything you try now, they will say, try something else. And you know what the problem is? It's not that the PNM alone, they have some very influential elites in the country supporting them. And they're getting the message across. Because every time you raise up something, fundamental change that is happening to make the country better, you have a good, strong cadre of opposition people, meaning PNM and anybody else, who want to tell you it shouldn't be the wrong way, the other way. And I get a few of the people to talk on their behalf in social media, and then people are confused. In the end, your voters, your UNC people are confused. Your UNC people had to be, we were saying on the last day, you have to get your people on board, Sumant. You have to get your people on board. Remember what I told you last week? When Kamala, they didn't expect Kamala to win this election. Many of them turned against her, and even the jump ship, some of them, in the last moment, some of them jump ship.
Yes.
There were a lot of UNC people who did not go out and vote because they thought she didn't stand a chance. They were bad talking. So we're saying all of this because my thesis has always been that I am worried about the next 5 years, because without having a second successful 5 years, I want to give up from now if we don't have that second 5 years. Because all this hard work and you're not getting anywhere, you need the second 5 years to carry it through. So that is would be my philosophy and policy and methodology going forward in terms of securing that next 5 years. So let the politicians do their job, let the ministers do their work, the UNC have their work cut out for them, and somebody got to tell them, hey, you got to be in it to win it. You just cannot give up so easily, and you cannot be persuaded by those people who trying to get, because they have the influence and the media behind them, they are going somewhere and you're not going anywhere. So that is, we have to state all these things that we are doing. And I'm just going to stop here because I have another second matter to raise a little bit. But maybe we could continue with this for a little while to hear. I didn't hear Fazia for a while, so perhaps I know she's more many in the health field. She must have had some ideas. I understand she came from the country areas of Trinidad, way down in South Central somewhere, and I don't have any police posts nearby. She might be able to tell us.
We have a police post. We have one. We have one.
Oh yeah, not one of the new ones, one of the old ones, right?
Yeah, one of the old, the Beach Police Station. There's quite a few police staff, I think, fairly well. they just have like one little police van. So if that's broken down, then there's no police van to take anybody anywhere to go look for anything if somebody calls the police, you know. But I think that station has been there from my grandparents' days, because my grandma lived just opposite. She used to live just opposite the police station. And they would come back in the days to weigh their bags of feed and my bags of weed in my grandmother's shop scale back in those days. Yeah, so there's a police station out there with a little, I think, a one cell holding area type of thing. And then there's one in Sangre Grande and Rio Claro on the outskirts. So yeah.
But those are official stations out in Rio Claro and Grande, right?
Rio Claro and Sangre Grande, yeah. But yeah, that's been there for some time. But just going to what Dr. Maraj was saying, I just feel to understand or realize, have these people forgotten how they suffered through the years under PNM rule? Like, they suffered like no other people have suffered in our entire country span of our life in the country of Trinidad and Tobago. Like, nobody suffered like they did under the PNM rule in the last 15 years or how many years they were there, you know? Like, it seems people have forgotten what they went through with PNM, how much they wanted change and how much change came through by the overwhelming support of the UNC, you know? And yet people are still fighting, you know, the good changes that are coming. And I don't understand why that is happening. I understand how you say, you know, there's all these powerful elites that are still in the country, you know, who were part of the wrongdoing in the last 10 years or so. And yet they're still in whatever post or privilege they have. They need to be held accountable and put away if that's the case, in order for us to actually move forward with something that would actually come to fruition and give us another 5 years or 10 years again, or whatever the case might be, right? So whatever the UNC government is doing, they have to make sure that, like, all these PNM elites who are these, you know, who are the ones behind all the organized crime, as far as I know, if I read and seen, they should be held accountable and put away, you know, for just completely hemorrhaging the treasury, you know, pocketing all this money, just scandalizing the country and just hemorrhaging it from every single angle that they could have, you know, shutting down all the refineries, selling out all the companies. Like, these things that they did is just broken the country so badly that they should have some accountability for that. Like, I don't know. That's my view of it in that sense, because if they are still there, they will always have cause to instill fear and to instill, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, and gaslight the population, right? And that's what they're doing very successfully, because people are listening to them and following them and spreading the, you know, the false news or the false, you know, information that they're doing.
Yeah. And Fazia, last time we met 2 days ago, I was making the point that the Honorable Prime Minister will have, like I always said, she has to take the bullhorn and speak. Don't let them get away with it. You set the agenda, and you set the narrative.
She needs to set the
correct talking points.
Yeah, those top heads, like even from the previous minister to the deputy, whoever, all of them have to be held accountable. How much have they swindled and gambled and misappropriated all the country's funds? Yeah, but you know, Fazia, we spoke about this last time around, and I usually have a different take on all of these things, because if the UNC wants to become a favorite party, they're kind of unfavorable these days. I don't know to what extent. But if they want to go in that direction, they'll have to tolerate some level of slackness. By slackness, I mean you cannot clean house entirely. You have to tolerate some level of inefficiency to get. Dr. Ramroop, I made a point to him some 6 months back also, that yes, everything that you all are saying and doing on the point, but what is feasible and what should be done not necessarily mean to you might throw away the baby and the bathwater, as you in health you would know. The baby and the bathwater, we can't do it. We have to tolerate some level of slackness in the system. Even though we are doing the correct thing, we got to really do something, but at the same time recognize
that if you push it too fast and go too clean and too hard, your days will be numbered, and they have a way of coming back at you. Let me just make this little point quickly.
No, you're right. You're right on point. You're right.
Yeah, let me just make this little point quickly, because the other day they had a couple, they had arrested a couple in Trinidad, a so-called political elite, or they might vote economic elite. And look how those guys behaved. I mean, the guys who were in favor of releasing the alleged offenders. Look how they behave. You swear to God that the government has committed a serious act.
Yes.
They just picked these people off the street and there was nothing. They just did it. These poor innocent people have to go through these, and they are our business people, and they're blah blah blah. The story is being told differently, and it has to be told properly.
Correct.
And look how because we were correct, meaning we, the UNC side, were correct. What we were doing were correct. But under pressure, under the legal system, under jurisprudence, under the system of legal system in Trinidad and the Privy Council, would have arrive at the same conclusion. So we were not going to get anywhere with this. It tells you that mash your brakes, because while you're doing the very, very correct thing, it's only so far you could go in the meantime. So even the courts sometimes would not allow you to do what you need to do. To answer your question, Fazia, because you kind of thinking that there are people still in place doing the ABCD. Why don't we get rid of them? No, you have to allow a certain because it is still stuck against you. It will take a little while. We need a second 5 years and a third one, as you mentioned also just now, a second 5 and a third 5. Gradually we'll get there. We cannot make the same mistake the other parties make, like the NAR and even the People Partnership to some extent made the last time around. We got to go forward because we want to have a second and a third and many years to come, because we deserve it. Trinidad deserve it. And we had to help them to get there. And Trinidad must also help us to get where we ought to be, because we will be the shining city on a hill. Trinidad and Tobago is exceptional Caribbean country. We have never been a backward nation. We have always been forward. We have been on top of things. The Western country look towards us for guidance, and we do it. And therefore, we are still number one in the Caribbean. And we got to live up to that. And we should get there, but we got to tread cautiously, because it is not going to come easy, and we can't rush it too fast. Even though we are correct, we cannot rush it too fast. Think about how many Afro-Trinidadians are supporting the UNC now, the PNM. I talked about this the last time. That Rainbow Coalition, they have a problem with that. And that is why they're panicking so much. And that is why they run into nooks and crannies to lay all kind of foundation, except what the UNC doing is best for Trinidad and Tobago. They don't want that to be seen that way. As you said, gaslighting. You want to gaslight the country into believing that everything that the UNC is doing is bad for Trinidad and Tobago. And they deserve to get a second chance, or even vote them out for the county council common election. They want to vote them out already. They're ready to vote out. They're ready for the call election now. They said. Of course, they want to lose again. Don't forget what happened in Tobago. If they are going, if the UNC buckle down and they really make this first 3 years successfully, you could very well see in the next 5 years. It was how many years ago? 3.5 again. You'll see them moving towards what Tobago did, because these people deserve to go into oblivion, so that they should never see power again, because of the wrong things they did for the number of years over the past, 30, 40 years. And that is my take on what the question. I'll take a little long to say what I was saying, but that is what I want to talk about this time. I have another issue I will raise a little later tonight, but let me hear you guys now. Fazia, you again, go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate your view on that. And what you're saying is right. You got more experience and more insight than I do. But I do understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. It does make sense, you know. In my limited knowledge of politics and what I've lived through, you know, I see things in my mind very black and white, and I've always been that way. However, I know differently, and it, you know, in my mind, you know, you did something wrong, held accountable, put away, next. You know what I mean? Next person, and here we go. But it's not that easy in the real world, especially in politics and with politicians who hold high places, who have lots of money, who have influence others into doing the wrong and covering their tracks. You know, I know it takes time. So I just hope, you know, that the Honorable Prime Minister, she's doing her best, she is trying her hardest, and you can see how much she actually cares about the welfare of every single person in our country. I can see that from here, I know, you know, and I just really hope she doesn't, you know, lose her, you know, lose her steam to go for these people who, you know, who caused such a downfall of our country, to say, you know, before they got voted out. You know, I want her to try her best to get rid of all of them and put them away for what they did, so we can carry on and prosper in the next 10, 20, 30 years. You know, we have such a potential to become,
yeah.
You know.
And Suman, before you say anything, Suman, I'll give you a chance in a moment. But I just want to tell you one thing, that we heard about the building this post in Tonopuna. I know you could talk about that if you want, Suman, because you're there.
Yes.
Do anybody know how many PNM build things without getting permission from local government? Go back and see how many there are. Number one. Number two is if they need permission to get things built, right? This government has. I mean, what I'm saying is that I'm not hearing the other side answering them back the way they ought to.
That's it. That's the point.
Because
that is the big point, Dr. Mirage.
No, Khadija, I was trying to get her here, but I guess she was a little bit busy. But she did speak on it. I just couldn't download the clip because it was in a format that I couldn't bring it in. But they have the audacity to tell the Minister of National Security or Homeland Security and the Minister of Local Government that what you can and cannot do. Right? This police post was in the benefit of all the citizens there. They were crying out for this for many years. They had one guy who was saying that they'd always, you know, they're always going to make it and it never has no fruition, basically. Right? The people have been crying out. The Minister of Homeland Security said it. The people have been crying out for this, but yet you are seeing the priority. You are seeing exactly where the priority lies with the PNM form of governance, whether it's local government or the MPs. They are all in opposition of any form of increased protection. They are opposed. They are opposed of a citizen carrying a firearm to defend himself. But you don't hear no opposition about the criminals carrying the most sophisticated weapons. Right? You don't hear that. So, go ahead, Suman.
In addition, let me just add something to the mix. You know, the PNM is very, very good at race baiting.
Suman, I can barely hear you.
Yeah, they're using that. They're using that too. They're using that. Yeah, we've seen that most recently.
They're using it as race baiting to deflect and to change the discussion. I don't know if you know that the High Court has ordered the PNM to account for the funds used to build Balize House.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but Suman, besides Balize House, what about the billions of dollars throughout the year that they cannot give account for? That is bigger than Balize House. We don't want to be distracted by Balize House, you know, because there's so much money not accounted for.
There's the whole Auditor General report, and so nothing has been done with that in that regard as yet. But looking at the most recent one, the PNM has so subtly diverted attention to the policing side of things rather than accounting, and the High Court has, you know, put pressure on the PNM that they have to account for these funds. The source of funds, right? So that is a classic example of how they have deflected criticisms on Balazi House and turned the narrative to race and security as the main issues now. Not forgetting, hey, that $2.3 billion in the Auditor General report, they're not saying anything about that, and I am very peeved about why the delay. Why the delay in
Also, not forgetting
investigating
that
this?
Ken Ali wrote an article about $4 million, I think $4 million or $4 billion, I can't remember exactly, in the last Labad election that Stuart Young took, and no accountability for how it was distributed or spent, right? We have also the X amount of million of dollars that was distributed under CPEP. And it was top heavy. People not even on the job. So I mean, there's so many things. A lot of money.
Yes, you know, and by the way, Stuart Young issue is a loan, is a loan on the people, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we the citizens have to pay back that loan and no accountability for that loan. So these are the issues. They just try to deflect the current issues and use the race baiting as a way to deflect. And what on top of that, they have the media, the newspaper, the television, and so on to spread these narratives. And so people's minds become more confused about everything.
Yes,
And
they're confusing people.
To try to just keep people in that state of confusion and hoping that in a month or two, everything is forgotten and new issues come about. Police posts are what? That's nothing new. That is for the benefit of the entire country. Why is the opposition on that? The UNC should not have to take any flack for that initiative. This is our initiative. Let's do it. Until heck what anybody says. When you encourage, you do what the heck you want as well. When they closed down the refinery, nobody didn't hear nothing from anybody. You know, they closed down our entire ministry. Nobody said anything. That's how the PNM operates, you know. But here is it when they're under the pump. But the simple thing with the Balazi House issues, when the High Court says, hey, you need to account for the source of funds, then they use the race baiting as usual. Because at all election times when they're up against the wall, they use this as a threat or this as their main weapon to create that divisiveness in the society. I think this rounds may be a bit different because I'm seeing some signs that the younger Afro-Chinese are beginning to think a little bit, you know, and are trying to see that, yes, the government at present is trying to do something for all and for them as well. Because they got nothing for the past 10 years when the PNM was in, nothing, not even damn laptops they got. You know, there are no books and uniforms, grants, school books, you know, these things were always issues. They never got these things under the PNM, and here is it now that they're getting these grants, subventions and so on, transport for their kids, breakfast and lunch for their kids, you know, school books for their kids, books and uniform grants for their kids. They're seeing these things happening. And computers with AI for their kids. So what the heck is the problem? So I think the younger generation of Afro-Chinese are seeing this in a different light. But then again, you never know at the last moment, the race card always plays its role. So we have to be cognizant of that perspective. So right now I'm seeing this deflection from police posts and so on, and what transpired over the Emancipation Day, that race beating sort of stuff, and the big argument why was there an Indian dance at the Emancipation ceremony at UTT. All these things become major issues when they are really trivial issues.
That should never even be an issue. That should be welcome.
Correct.
Like this is
correct.
a multicultural country. It is not a one-person country.
Yes, and even
Says
when you
who?
go to the Niagara and so on, you
Says
see
who? Says
steel
who,
band
Fabia?
play.
Says
Says
it.
who? This is
Says
not.
me.
This is not. This is your view. This is the UNC view. This is
Says
not those
me.
fellas' view.
Yeah.
It's those fellas who trying to upset the apple cart. Because why you are correct and why all of us are correct,
Correct.
they don't want it that way. There is last week I was telling you that you know they have some equal people are equal, all of us are equal, but some more equal than others.
Yes,
That is
yes. Yeah.
pick up from the last week that I was saying that because what happened with them is whenever the UNC gets into making equality, like all constituencies should be treated equally, they don't want that. We're supposed to for to be equal, we have to get more than the others, and then we equal. That is their definition of equality.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
should,
That's good.
should you point that out, or should you let it go? No, you should say no. You get them on. Really? Look. They're talking about getting permission to build this thing as we talked just now about Tunapuna.
And
Did,
this is the
did they
central
get permission
government.
to
This
build
is the central
Balije
government.
House?
This central government need their permission.
Did they have permission to build what they're supposed to build? Did they go through WASA and OT and Tech and get permits and everything else? They have them in place to show. Do they have them talking about Tunapuna? Did they do that? Maybe not. Or in fact, maybe not. They don't do it. Because I was saying it last week. I was telling you last week, the PNM is above Trinidad. The PNM first, Trinidad second, and everything else down the line. And Gary was saying no, family first and blah blah. Yeah, that's true. That's the Fazia point. That's true. But says who? The PNM. You have to deal with the enemy, and I don't call them enemy in the sense of the opposite to how we think. We have to deal with that.
Proven themselves to be
opposing
enemy.
force.
They have proven themselves to be the enemy. Come on.
No, they would, and I were the enemy. I don't know whether they are not. But they have. We have to really deal with those kinds of issues and let them know that this is. You see, I'm saying this thing, but they are too sympathetic to people who are committing crime in our society. The Prime Minister just said today that you all must have known that our crime is down. I think Gary showed that tonight. One of the clips he was showing. Crime is down everywhere, and crime. No, that is the problem. If crime goes down everywhere and people start reinvesting, and then the country picks up very quickly, and we're back to where we ought to be, then that's the end of the PNM. They ain't seeing power again. Their problem is you're going to replace them forever. And when they see those handful of committed Afro-Trinidadians who again, like us, Trinidad first and everything else second, those are real patriotic Trinidadians who want the UNC to succeed and want Trinidad to succeed first and then party. As the opposite is happening with the PNM. They want to see themselves number one and everything else after that. The party put them, and they tell you like it is. Long live the PNM, long live the Ballinger, long live everything. You heard us saying long live Trinidad? No, they don't.
Yeah.
You ever heard us saying long live Trinidad and Tobago? No, long live the Ballinger, long live the PNM. Great is the PNM, and they will prevail. They never said great is Trinidad and Tobago, and Trinidad. Let them. That is why you're going to attack them. That they are not patriots. They are unpatriotic. They are trying to fool people, but the people smarter than them. The people as a group smarter than them, and they will lose again. They will lose again once they go that road. People are not. I think some of you just said it, that the young Afro-Trinidadians, they're not going to get them to that kind of nonsense. Look at the rainbow. Look at the amount of people. I was telling you all last week, and Fazia, you were not here when I was saying this. But if you go to a chutney show, look at the rainbow of people attending chutney shows. Say we go to the Calypso tent, look at the rainbow of people. You know, they want your money, but they don't want you. They want your money, but they don't want you. Trinidad and Tobago is in a right place. They're moving in the right direction. We got to help them, and the UNC must not lay back and relax as though everything good again. No, because the UNC have to do a better job at marketing themselves and I say you and see me rank and file everybody, and we discussed this before. The ministers have their jobs to do, the party have their jobs to do, and everybody have. We ourselves, like Gary said, also we have our part to do as well. So we're not out of it. So, but what I'm trying to say here is that we must give them some points that they have not heard of or not thinking about, and I hope I have been trying to do that since I'm talking all night. I said I want to talk about it.
I would say that our points has been well taken, and in fact, I've gotten response, and I've seen something. In fact, these police posts that's been built, these multi-agency task force, all these are things that we were pushing for, and it's happening. We have seen the CPR training on the ground with the Minister of National Security, where we had been calling for. We have seen that taking place. So there's a lot happening or have been happening that we may not recognize right away. Is things that we have discussed on this platform is in fact taking place.
Yeah, Gary, could you send me computer my email again? I couldn't get it just now. I'd prefer to talk through the computer. Could you send it for me again, please?
I will send an email. I'll send you a link.
Yes, send it again. I'll go back. Good night, guys. I'll come back in just now.
Okay.
All right, Doug. Yeah. So these police posts are temporary posts. They are not permanent structures.
They're temporary?
Yeah, they are temporary structures to facilitate this crime initiative, to bring a sense of security among the various communities. 30 temporary police posts, meaning.
So these will be eventually moved once they sort of are satisfied with the outcomes of.
That's right. They're based on outcomes that, once a crime subsides in a particular area, then we'll probably move to the next hot area and so on. So this is not permanent position.
Well, Suman, it's not a permanent police station. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a permanent thing. But I wouldn't jump to that. It's not a permanent structure. But what I'm saying to you doesn't mean that the installation is not permanent. It will be there as long as necessary. So I wouldn't jump to that conclusion.
No, it's not a conclusion. It's that they will keep the area. Once there is some level of calm in the area, they'll move to the next hot area. That's what the point I'm making. And that they're not permanent, but they're not temporary. Temporary is what I am saying. They could be there for 3 years. Who knows? Or they may be for 6 months. You can't tell as yet until they reach their outcome. They have benchmarks, what their benchmark goal is for, let's say, serious crimes in Southwest, for example. Once that I reach a threshold level, a tolerable threshold, then they can think of moving to a hotter area where there are none. There are no police outposts. So the whole.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The whole outcome is really crime reduction,
Mm-hmm,
and you can't measure crime reduction across the board as one yardstick, but in different areas. Let's say Northeast crime has fallen, okay, Southwest, yes, but it has increased in other areas, another area. Then what happens? You have to reinforce that area where the crime is prevalent now, and you could afford to decrease your surveillance in where it has fallen. At the end, you want to make sure that overall the crime and security are in a manageable position. That is what the KPI is, your key performance. That is what you're trying to approve. That is what the outcome should be. Let's say about 36 murders, it has fallen to 5. Okay, that's within a threshold, we can tolerate that. And even 1 murder is too much, but it has fallen that drastically from 30 to 5. That's a good trend. but it may have increased in another in the northwest area. So let's throw our resources now in that area. So you have to have clear indicators or outcomes where you can measure the entire security apparatus.
But Suman, let me say this. If
Yeah.
you are fighting war and you have gained some ground in a certain area,
Mhm.
it doesn't necessarily be wise to reduce the amount of troops that you have in that area. Okay? Because you could be jeopardizing your success. Yeah, if you have taken control of a certain area, you made some advancement. It is not wise to reduce the troops. Okay, it's the same way in treating a disease. You made some progress, right? It is not wise to pull back the amount of medicine or reduce the amount of medicine until you totally annihilate the disease that's there, right? So what I'm saying to you is we have to keep up the pressure. We have to maintain the
That's fine.
course.
I
We
have
have
no
to be
problem with that.
consistent. We have to be consistent.
I have no problem with that, Gary. But in certain, 30 different locations, things may vary. The police post may not have any effect at all, whereas in some areas it may have a drastic effect.
Well, if they're
What
not
do you
having any
do then?
effect there in one particular area, we have to know why.
That is right. So let's say you have achieved your objective in one of the areas. Shouldn't you use the resources now to fight the areas where you have not been successful? Given that we have only a fixed amount of police and army, officers, so you have to shift things around because you don't have unlimited resources.
Oh, yeah, I mean that's a reasonable suggestion. That's a reasonable assumption.
Yeah. So that's the way I see it, but the ultimate goal is to reduce crime and make the population feel safe again. That's it. Across
Yeah,
the
but
board.
if you have a certain amount of reduction and you're making some progress, it's not to ease up, it's to keep up the
No,
pressure.
you can't ease up, is what I'm saying, but you don't have unlimited resources, Gary. You have to mind where putting your efforts, your dollars. Now, think of it. Hey, you know what I would do? PNM areas, you don't want us to put no police force? To heck with you. I'm going to put it where I wish to put it and let them fight it out. Because, you see, they want to get away with all their nefarious activities, the drug law, the running the drugs.
Yeah, we should not be playing nice.
You know where it happens.
We don't
Everybody
need to
knows
play
where that.
nice. We have to be aggressive and forceful, whether they like it or not. Because they did what the hell they want and they mash up the country, right? So,
yes. No, that's what I'm saying. You have to heck with them. You do what you have to do as a government.
Correct. I mean, whether the PNM likes it or not, what we do, they will never like what we do regardless.
Correct.
Whether it's good, whether it benefits, they will never agree with what we do because their job is to oppose, and that's what they do very well. But I cannot imagine or see any law-abiding, rational thinking, reasonable citizen opposing security measures in an area where they needed it, where they asked for it, where they wanted it. The only ones who are opposing are the ones who benefit from crime, and we know who those are.
That's it.
So
That's the
put
point.
it where it's needed. End of story.
Now, do we remember just last year, December, when the U.S. Southern Command was doing all the cleaning up of the drug laws and so on in the Gulf? They were vehemently against it. The PNM was definitely against that initiative.
Yeah, but they couldn't do anything about it.
They couldn't do anything about it, and it yielded results. You see, it yielded results. Look at the outcome. The supply chain was cracked.
Did anybody know whether the what, I didn't look at the news for a while, but can you tell me what happened with the Tonapuna building? Did they stop building or they continue or
No.
what happened?
What I saw today is that Minister Alexander and a few of the people who use the Etihad grounds, they came out supporting what Alexander wanted to build a post, to build a police post. So apparently the community is divided now. Then they're starting to say, well, but it posted, who was the one who got the contract? This is how PNF shift the goalpost. And this is how they deflect and try to convince the community, the population, why the UNC should not build these things in their constituencies. Because
What I would
they want to
recommend
continue with
is
the
to
same old.
take a 45-foot container and outfit it and put it there.
Well, Gary, you know what they're saying today? That they're putting it on top of the NGC gas line. So you see, there's always some excuse. If that's the situation, I'll put the damn thing in the middle of the playground. Okay, there's no pipeline running under there. You are the ones in government. You can do what you want, man.
Correct. 100%.
Yeah, that's what I draw the reference. How he already closed down the damn refinery all by himself. Nobody said nothing.
But that's the question I'm asking you, Suman. It means that if they not continue building, that means that they have more power than the government.
That's
Meaning
right. That's my point.
The government have to go through the process. They have to go through the process to get it done, which may be the legal way to do it. And if that's the way, then the government may be doing that. That's the question I'm asking. You can't rush your way through when it really the court, because the Supreme Court might say you're wrong, and you might have to go back to square one. If it's something they're doing and it's not legitimate. It's not legit in terms of following the procedure, and the government cannot be above the law. Then they will make you embarrass you all in the open. So that's what I'm asking. Maybe they're wrong, but we don't. That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I'm asking.
I myself is not aware, but let me say.
But that could be an embarrassing for the government. They can't make this foul. They already have a few foul play thing going on with them, and they kind of embarrassing a little bit to some extent. They have to really know they're dealing with the PNM is more strong than they think. I don't know. The PNM is always strong. We know them. They institutionalized everywhere in every corner. They have the power and they're wielding the power. They're not afraid to wield it. You know that. Yeah. This is what you're dealing with.
According to the Minister of Local Government, they have the chairman have no legal authority to issue any warning that what he did there.
But does the county council, do they have the power to because current country give the approval? There is no need for the city, for the borough council. There was no need for the county council, because approval is done by town and country. If town and country say bill, that's it. So maybe what I'm saying, they're talking, but you see, that's where the UNC must come out and talk straight up, hard and rough. No, they have no legitimate in doing this. We are going to continue. This is sometimes even though you don't have the legal behind you, you can talk rough and squeeze yourself out of it. Talk rough and squeeze out of it. Still talk rough. Don't show like you're putting your leg behind the tail, whatever nonsense.
Khadija, I mean, the Minister of Local Government is definitely not a person who will put her leg between the tail. She will stand up and fight. All right, and she will take them head on.
But if the law is not on the side, you want to wiggle out kind of in a nice way. But get your point across that we will do what we want. But however, we'll get you. Don't stay quiet, because the vacuum is being filled by the detractors, and they're filling the vacuum, and therefore your people don't know what their mouth open because they don't know where to go. Your people are not smart people. The UNC make up of, when I say smart, politically smart, I should say. They're smart in every thing, but they don't understand how this politics business really works. That's why I talk in plenty politics. Why? Because I realize I cannot practice a profession if I don't have the power. Frazier, you understand what I'm talking about, right? My specialty is finance. I have a PhD in finance, and also I'm accredited. I'm accredited analyst. But that is my area. But my area couldn't go very far if I don't have the politics right. Because I really don't. I'm not a politician. I'm not. But I got to realize, know what I'm dealing with. Because if I want Trinidad, I'm interested in Trinidad. I have relatives and everything there. If I want Trinidad to go forward, and the PNM is being a deterrent to that forwardness, then I have to help. And that's why I'm helping in this regard. Because we want to get ahead. So if Trinidad has to go anywhere, these people are they are just naysayers. They are the Animal Farm Benjamin donkey. I don't know if you all know about Animal Farm, how that really works. But
Yeah, anyway,
they
I
are
want
the
to welcome
Benjamin.
some of our listeners here: Marilyn, Nadira, Anna. I saw
Yeah,
Lindsay earlier.
yeah.
So we have somebody MWC47. Welcome, whatever your name is there. Thank you for listening and joining us. Thank you for your participation. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah. So cement, if it is that they really had to really back down from this and say, yeah, we need to get the permission. I think it's town and country will give them permission. Once the town and country say yes, that's it. So no matter what the county council is saying, town and country will give them the okay to bill. Once they give them the okay to bill, that's it.
Well, the central government have to have
What
the
I'm saying, that's a way
authority.
to get
We
out.
in charge
Because these
now.
people
We
talking,
in charge now.
well, no, you're gonna lose in the high court. You're gonna lose. You be careful. You're in charge here, but they're gonna embarrass you. They have a kind of semi-embarrassment going on along with the couple that the Trinidad Syrian couple already. They have,
Yeah, but
you know,
that couple was caught making racist statement, and there is
yeah,
alleged making
yeah,
some kind of organization threats against
yeah,
the prime
yeah.
minister, right?
Mhm.
Yet they jump up to defend the couple because those are in the pockets, possibly. Those have been financed, maybe we don't know, but
No, but remember what Fazia said tonight? She's talking about the gaslighting. Who doing the gaslighting?
yeah,
Fazia, didn't you talk
look
about?
who's jumping up in defense of the couple. That alone, the giveaway. Looking who's in defense of the couple. If you make
Yeah,
threats against the prime minister, right, and there's evidence, the police can't come and make an arrest without that kind of evidence to go
Correct,
that far.
correct,
If the
correct.
police would not go that far for a person
Mm-hmm.
that is that high in our society to make an arrest, they have to have some kind of information.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, guys, I just want to
and
encourage
so
you
did they.
to watch the screen because there'll be some comments from the listeners. So you can respond to the listeners if you look at the screen there. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if we kill that for the time being. I want to move on to, if I could just tell you all that could anybody tell me what the fuss is all about? But walk with that ID in your pocket, and we have ID card from I don't know since 1950s or 60s. We always had ID card. You could tell me what the problem really is with those people on the other side who seen this as a betrayal, as something clandestine, that the government is asking you to have an ID when you're going anywhere. Normally you have an ID to
That's a normal
report anybody.
thing.
It is automatic.
That's
It's, well,
expected in any country you go to.
it is automatic for you to say who you are when it's your own. Let me give you an example. What happened in 1974 there, but I was in the police with CID, and I was I was a fingerprint expert, and somebody got killed in somewhere in Aruca. He had no ID in his pocket, so we don't know who this guy was. So I'd take him up and take him down to St. James. By the time we get to St. James, night came. If we were working in night, next morning, one of our guys will go and take the fingerprint, the dead man fingerprint, and they brought it to the CID and CRO. And I searched and I happened to find the guy, I'd identify who the guy is. Now, if he had an ID card, 2 days before we don't know who this guy was. Because in his
Mhm.
pocket he has the ID. So I'm not hearing nobody in Trinidad saying those kinds of things. You only get it on this frequency. Because they're not thinking about, here's another thing again, they're not talking about. So your ID card is there to really, the ID card there is there to protect yourself, to protect you, the person. So if someone says, I so and so, you could say, no, I am so and so. Prove it. Look, here I am. So there's so many pluses that is happening. Trinidad wanted an ID card, and really they wanted to vote, really. They use it for voting, and so therefore there's a reason why I have it. Every South American country is required. I think Fazia was saying just now, I think in Canada, I know, I don't really have that there, but in South America, for example, Venezuela, if when Peru comes to tell you, you got to walk with an ID because if they ask you, let me see your ID, and you can't say who you are, that will be it. Hello?
Yeah, in
Well, I'm not,
in
and
Canada, we
honestly,
don't particularly have an ID card, but they would ask you for a form of ID, whether it's your health card or whether it's your driver's license. Even if you go to the bank and if you go with cash to the bank these days, which nobody has cash, they always use a card, and you want to exchange some money or you go to a store to pay with $100 bill, they ask you for an ID card to look at it
right,
to make sure it's actually a real, not a counterfeit bill. So even here, they'll ask you to identify yourself.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't
yeah,
know what the
you know,
issue is with having
you're
an
going,
ID card. Like, I don't know what the issue is. Like, why is that even an issue?
I don't know. No, you see, and what happened it's not an issue, but it have legs.
Okay.
You know why I get it today? Because before I came in here, I decided to look, I usually like to look at the editorial of the Trinidad Express. And I went to the editorial just before I enter you all. I said, let me look at the editorial, see because they're bothering me about this ID business. So you know what the editorial is saying? They're saying that the government needs to sell this idea to the people. They're not going to buy it because they believe that they have ulterior motives. Therefore, they have to get the people to buy in before they can bring this as law. So you had to go back now and have a commercial inquiry into all this crap and nonsense. You already have ID card too in your pocket
Yes.
everywhere. What's the matter with you people? So how stupid can you
That's
get?
okay. That sounds like a waste of time. That's nonsense. That's a
What
matter of
hearing
actual
you want to
national
hear about
security
ID
for you to be able
card?
to identify yourself.
Yeah. What these people? I don't look the ID card working the good plus and minuses. I mean, look, okay. Here's another thing that says, well, what about if you forget it? That mean you'll be arrested? You don't have it, therefore you'll be arrested. Crap! Don't do anything. Don't do anything that will suspect it to be in a crime. Okay, you forget it.
Correct.
If you're driving your car, Fazia, and you don't have a driver's license, what happens?
That
You
can be a
better get
possible
back
charge.
home. You better
Yeah.
rush back and get her quickly because you're not going to drive
Yeah.
an inch again anymore. So it's the same way. You walking down the street, oh, I forgot my ID card. Let me run back home and get it. Or you could even ask them, can I have a copy? Maybe in the law they could say some kind of copy would assist that, or some affidavit copy or some. So because people say you might forget it, but you don't forget. If you forget your driver's license, you don't drive anywhere. You go back home. You park a car and go back home. If you're walking on this, if you're forgetting your ID, there has to be something that I forgot my ID at home, and sir, officer, so and so. But the officer wouldn't come and ask you. Let me see your ID. Everybody here, every nook and cranny. Let me see your ID fast. Yeah, let me see your ID. You sir, professor, what happened? What did I do? We are investigating a crime. Okay, I understand. They will have to tell you why they want to see your ID. It cannot
Yes.
be
Correct.
because
Correct.
it doesn't work like that. So all this crap, these hearing and these things are. That's why I don't like to read the papers so much. But I had to read because that is where they're swaying the UNC people because the UNC people are not smart enough in terms of what we're talking about here. Not they're smart in books and everything else and maybe science and maybe and health and all like fast health, smart and health. But Fazia, they may not be smart in terms of how to handle these people who are trying to Fazia said, gaslight you. That is why I'm spending tonight looking at all these kinds of issues. Because we have to answer them back is our people, meaning our voters, who has to be ready to answer the call to take this country forward, because this is their country. They will have to win it. They'll have to fight for the next 5 years. Get that for next 5 years. Because I'm telling you again, I'm repeating it I hope for the last time for tonight. But I am not in this for 5 years. I'm in this for many 5 years. I was embarrassed in the past with somebody 5 years that they should have got and didn't get it. This is not the time to take 5 years and go home and dust your pants and say, okay, we tried and we lost. We can't lose. We have to win. We have to win. Because there's no sense we talking and we can't win. That is why I'm concerned about winning. That is why I'm talking that we have to get it done. I spoke to you about Mr. Roberts the other day, the Senator Roberts fellow. That you could see he's going to take, and you said someone, he's going to take the data and he'll twist it to suit his cause. That is what you need to do, Fazia. You need to take the data and swing it to you, so that you answer this back. This county council fellas who don't want to believe, you're supposed to be answering them black and white, telling them how they only care about criminals. They only care about criminals. They don't care about the people and who we're trying to help. We're trying to help the country, so we have too much crime and too much drugs and too much this, and we're trying to do something. If you're not helping us, you are against the people of Trinidad and Tobago. You are against the good people. You're against the victims. You are in favor of the criminals, and therefore take a side. Which side you on? I know the most of Trinidad people are on my side. I don't know about you. You have to answer them, let them fight them. And I came out of Arima. I win in Arima. Who are in Arima? I know. If anybody listen to Arima, they might know who I am. I mean, I'm from Arima. I'm not from no Caroni or not from no Naparima or Beach. I'm not sure about Beach. I just guess my way around. I don't know about Beach too much, but I heard about it. Sure.
No, Doc, you come advocate. I know that. You come advocate by Dr. Ramadan by not stopping you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Doc, what you're saying is quite correct. But that goes back to my point again. We as a party have to have our social media connections so strong that whenever we have an initiative like this, the 30 temporary police posts, we have to think about all the questions that they can be put in for and preempt the question that they're going to ask. So they have nothing to talk about. And this is where our shortfall is. We have all the brilliant minds, the brilliant doctors and lawyers and this and that, but do we have the political sense, the brilliant political sense to preempt whatever questioning the PNM may have should we decide to implement one of our projects? And what the project we're implementing right now is a question of crime. So all this thing about town and country and the putting this thing above our gas time and so shouldn't have to be an issue. We also should already have answers for them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You know, you're preempting whatever possible accusations they can make for you. But unfortunately, and this is my beef with the UNC, they do not have a good communication department to preempt these questions and put the answers before they ask the question. You know, before they can say, well, why is this thing being built on? You know what's the latest thing today? Who are the ones who got the contract to build these 30 posts? All of a sudden, you see how the PNM creates that diversionary tactics. And they bring the new metrics into the fore. So from one issue, they go branch off to a number of things. And the whole country forgets the PNM have to account for the source of funds for the balancing house. That is where the central problem is. And that's why it's all affected and they're using the media and everything else, the press, to divert the population thinking. And this is what they do. This is PLM style. They've used this
You know
and
why
they
they want-
start all along.
You know why they want to know who getting contract? Because they don't want you to take away the patent. Because their patent bubble. And they know who should be getting those things. So the patent belongs to them. And you don't try no bubble because we are the best one at bubbles. So you better leave bubble for we and you find somebody else. Because if you're doing bubble, you're beating we. We don't like that.
You like that?
So we are the number one bubble people. That is the problem then. We all going to beat them with bubble and they did number one bubble. So let me know who getting that contract. I hope you're not getting your friends together or your family or your financiers. I hope you're not doing that because we patent that. We are specialized in that. We specialize in doing those kind of things. Come on, come up to UNC people. Don't do that. We're not going to do that.
You're threatening our monopolies because RRE and
Monopoly, man. Come on. That is how you have to answer them. I felt like Roberts would answer them that way. Or the Roberts fellow.
yeah.
All right. I want to address something here. So, Jared, hold on. Jared is from Canada. If we have close contact with Kamala, we don't get her to change the constitution so they could vote from Canada. That is part of the objective, Jared. And also, I mean, it's not a matter we have close contact. You have a voice. You have a right to a voice to say what you want. So get your people together in Canada and raise the issue. Get how to say how you get a petition going and you request that, and we would like to have that where we can vote also the same privilege as the United States citizens. We can vote wherever they are, So yes, we want that for Trinidad and Tobago, and we encouraging all members of the diaspora to have their say, have your say in what you want for the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago. Make your contribution, voice your opinion, and lend your skills to your country. All is invited. Go ahead, gentlemen.
No, what you're saying makes sense, Gary, because only last week the U.S. Embassy sent me, mail to that effect. That they to voting.
Nadira, anything could happen as long as we stand together, united, and be forceful in what we want done. We cannot back down. We have to stand strong in what we require. So this platform is to bring all members of the diaspora, whether regardless of what part of the world you're in, together so that we can make an impact. We can get a Trinidad and Tobago that we want to see. A lot of times, we have a lot of skilled people outside the country, like we have Fazia here with us, a very highly skilled nurse who can make a very good contribution to Trinidad and Tobago. And we have a lot of skilled people outside the country. We want to encourage everyone to come on board. All right, guys. So don't feel that you don't matter. Every one of you matter.
No, that's absolutely true, Gary. And Suman, let's go back on your point when you're talking about, the ability, the one downfall of the UNC is that the inability to communicate widely and efficiently with the general public in terms of getting things done. And you talked about social media, which, I mean, in this day and age, this is the only way to get a message across to the entire country. And especially with an up-and-coming young
what did I
population.
use to fight the government? What did I use to fight the government? What did I use to fight the government when you guys were stuck out of the country?
Yeah, it was the social media. It was. Absolutely.
Yeah. When I was being told, oh, you should go and stand up and protest outside the embassy and this and that, I said, we're not doing that. I don't want to jeopardize more trainees who are already in more difficulty to get locked up, So we fought them on social media.
Yeah. So I'm saying the UNC needs to mobilize all the efforts, in the social media, at least in the communication section. So, for example, this with building up these police outposts around the country, they should be able to overwhelm the social media in Trinidad and blast, every single day, 10, 20 messages across everybody's Facebook, everybody's Instagram about these up and coming posts. Get your vote in, get your voices in, give us some information, give us some ideas what to do. It should be every single day. There's a blasting out information until people get tired of seeing it. People will be stuck in their heads. They know this is coming, something to look forward to, and overwhelm it so the PNM doesn't have a chance to stick their little misinformation, when they want to dissuade people from the actual, project that is to come about. That's
Yeah.
what they need to do.
So we're always preempting whatever questions they're planning to ask by us having the answers already in social media. You have no question to ask.
Mhm.
That is the point. You have no ammunition. They have no ammunition to feed on. You see, because they always contending now, as I say,
Always.
Tunapuna now, the one in Etihad is being built on their gas line. Where are the contractors? Who's the one getting the contract? Right? So, all of a sudden, well, we have to be fighting them now for clarity. We're still searching. Even we are in government and we have to still fight the PNM. Come on, man. We have to do things our way, ourselves, get it done. To heck
I-
with everybody else.
Yeah, I agree.
With
I agree. I don't.
social media at the forefront, that is one of your major ammunition you have.
Mhm. It is.
It is.
Now it is. And it will get to the younger people because they're always on social media. It will get to them and word would spread. Right?
So let me tell you something. The second topic I raised tonight, we all went away from it.
Dr.
But
Marge, I can barely hear you. I'm not sure if it's my phone. I can barely hear you.
Oh, I don't have my volume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello?
you better.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Fazia, you hear me now?
Not really.
Hello?
I can hear Suman, but I can't hear you. I'm not sure why.
I don't think my volume is on.
I think your cap is the problem, Doc.
I was just showing my patriotic cap, Trinidad and Tobago flag.
TNT,
So when
yeah.
I put on my cap, I come for war.
Come on.
When I put on my cap, I come to fight.
Right.
Come for war.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. So just check your Fazia. Could you check to see if you're having a problem? It was only me. So let me see if I could go slowly on this last point I was making on that second point I raised. So you were talking about social media just now also. So in this modern day and age, you wouldn't forget your ID. Like I've said, they say forget the ID, go back home for it. People have them in their wallet. You don't forget your iPhone and go home because you can't go to the subway because you don't have no money. You have to go back for your money to go. So this thing about forgetting your IDs, that editorial go raise that nonsense like that. That if you forget your ID card, you'll be arrested because you don't have it. You forgot it home. So there goes your people, the civil liberties, the thing of civil liberties. So you these days with your ID card would be in your back pocket in your wallet.
It will be on your phone, Doc. You have it on your phone.
Wallet, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's in your digital. It's in your digital wallet now. Yeah.
That's on 19th century. That they ain't thinking about those kind of. They're thinking about pen and paper and black and white and writing and ID card. ID card would be identification in electronic form.
Correct.
You don't forget your electronic form when you go on the subway. You can't pay away. You have to tap.
That's right.
Your Omni card, you got to put in the subway. You have to have it. Or you can't go back home. It's the same way you have to. Trinidad and Tobago already have an ID card system. It's just to extend to say walk with it. That's all they're asking. Why this big hullabaloo spending a lot of time? You know what happened with them? The PNM is a very conservative people, and they don't want any change. They want to go along with the old-fashioned way, make for profit, spend my money, make some foreign exchange, sell some oil. Let's have a good time. Shop in Miami. Let's go home and let's have a good. Let's keep them on the minimum wage. Keep us happy as we are, and because they go fight for us and the minimum wage anyway, because they will fight for us nevertheless. So they will vote for us because they get a minimum wage and depend on minimum wage. Therefore, what we have to do, keep it like it is, the status quo, and we're happy. So every time the UNC comes with something brand new, oh, no. 30 more police stations posted. No. That will interfere in the crime situation. We want the crime good as the crime is good as is. We don't want this to change. This criminal going. We like it so. We like how it's going. So no, you're talking about voting from abroad now? Oh, no. Not the UN. They're trying to fire that UNC. No, they want to go vote. They want to go ratify because they want to go and get people. They're all people that vote from abroad, like Fazia and so on in Canada, will get a chance to vote from where she is. Who will know that's Fazia voting or somebody else? Oh, no, we can't. Oh, proportional representation. Oh, no. Oh, data center. Oh, no. We don't have water and we don't have lights and we don't have food, so we can't. Everything is a Benjamin donkey. That's the donkey from Animal Farm. Doubtful about every single thing. And it's not, I know what everybody PNM, it has some people in Trinidad who kind of influential getting on the bandwagon. I see one of them wrote on the PNM, on the PNM Facebook, when I went on and give a long thing about the data center and a long thing about wages and people. Oh, they have the people in place, still in place. And Fazia said to get rid of them. But we had to go slowly on this because them fellas they are very influential. We're gonna get them out. But we need 5 more years first though, Fazia. We go clean house, but we need 5 more years. Because we go clean house and then we'll go right back in and dirty back the house. And then next 20 years, 10 years, we come back again, clean house and we go back. So this ding dong continues. 5 years I clean up the house and you come back in the house I clean. You dirty it again, 5 years I clean it up and you come back in. That merry-go-round. That musical chairs I don't want to happen to continue.
Yeah, we have to
And
avoid
that's
that. We
why
have to
I'm talking
ensure
so
another
loud there.
5-10 years again. Yeah.
And that's why I'm talking so loud because I don't want to skip it 5 years. What I would do with 5 years, take it back.
Yeah.
I want 5, 15, 20 so we could
Yeah.
really make Trinidad where it ought to be. It's supposed to be the shining city on a hill. And many Westerners know that. And that is why some of them look up to you. The only one who doesn't trust us very much is the Jamaicans, but they understand that we are rival with them.
So, Doc,
That is-
that's
Yes.
why I said what I said the other day, that we are a country that only moves sideways. We do not go forward because after you clean house 5 years, the same old comes back again, changes everything, and stagnates this entire country. Change hands another 5 years, and one party wants to build, they get opposition to go forward, so the country just goes sideways. We can never build TNT once you have this type of politics going on. Because
Samantha, I want to interject here to let you know, and Fazia and Gary and everybody who listening, the PNM is very good in opposition.
Oh.
They're not good in government, but they're very good in opposition. That is why they come back in. That is why you only get in 5 years.
correct, I
Because they
agree with
really
you.
belong to opposition. The struggles and the fight and the thing that you could see they're struggling. Anytime you're talking struggling, is because you are the victim. Because you're struggling, you're always struggling, and they have the people struggling because they are victims, and victims always struggles. So if they go to opposition, you have to be very careful because they could get back in government because they're so good in opposition. They will come back in government after 5 years. And
They're
they have
not-
been doing. I'm not saying that they never did it. They have been doing it. It's not
I
something I
will-
wish will happen. It's something that has already happened. How do you prevent it from happening? You do all the great works and all the things that they want to think Dr. Ramrup is doing, and all these things that these guys is a model for Trinidadians and Tobagonians. Yet still they're not in the power structure. Yet still what they're saying doesn't carry them very far. Yes, so you replace them after 5 years. All those good things. Look at what the UNC did in 2010 to 2050, the PPP partnership.
They should have never been replaced, but they replaced them. And even in the Pandey time, Pandey got a second 5 years. And that is why, and that brings me back to my point, Fazia, tonight, that our UNC people are our worst enemies in many situations.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, I agree with that. Doc.
Mm.
Thoroughly agreed. Thoroughly agreed.
Because
In
the second
addition,
5 years that Pandey get, they say, I listen to a lot of people talking all over the country, how without coalition, the UNC cannot win, they have to have coalition, blah, 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 blah. They never win history, they have to be coalition. You lie. Pandey win. He got a coalition with Robinson, give him 2 seats and make him prime minister. And the second time around, he won on his own.
on his own.
Pandey
Correct.
won on his own. What happened 11 months later? Those are the Romeo and Juliet, whoever they were. Those R's bring down the Indian government because they Indians bring down their own government because they didn't go. They didn't want to get what they wanted. They couldn't get it. So they said, better. Since I get what I want, all of us have to lose, and they bring down the government. And
Yes.
that is why I'm saying these UNC people have to really do a lot of work to really get 5 years and 5 more. PNM, I don't have to attack PNM. We know their fault and their weakness. We know well. We know they're not good we know they're not good. But are we good enough? That is what we're trying to prove. And that is what we have to prove. That the 1%ers and the other influential people would come our way. And that some PNM, which already will come our way, we already have a nice blend of good boys with us and girls. Hold on to them, keep them, because we need to take Trinidad to a better place. And we can only do so if we allow the UNC to do what they're doing and grow the country forward, take the country forward, where we ought to be. Not even sideways, not sideways is not good enough. Upward, never backward. Upward forever. Downward never. I told you so.
You're right.
Fazia, I'm talking to myself. I'm going to stay quiet now. Let me just say one more thing to Fazia before we pull up. The last time we saw you, I think you had an unfortunate thing in the family, and we wanted to say how sad we were. And I don't think we got a chance to say that. So I think it's about a good time back. I don't know how long, maybe a year, maybe or half a year or whatever. So you had something in the family.
Yeah. Well,
And,
don't I
we
reach
saw-
out to her by that
I
time?
hope you're okay now. That's all I'm saying. And you look like you're okay now. And she's not hearing me. Could you tell her what I
I
said?
didn't hear the last few things you said. I'm not hearing you. I didn't hear you well at all.
Yeah. So, Samantha, you want to tell her what I said?
Yeah. Yes, I say doctor's talking about your mom when she passed away and so on earlier December.
Yeah, mom passed away on December. Yeah.
Yeah. So doctor saying he's taking the opportunity to wish you well and hope that you have gotten over it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm telling them that I'm way ahead of the game because I conducted Father's back in Christmas time around between Christmas
Yeah,
and
you had called me Christmas, and then in January you had called and we had spoke a little bit about that. Yeah, you did. But thank you. I that warms my heart. Thank you very much. I'm planning to head back home in October to go and see my dad because I haven't been home since mom passed. I didn't get a flight in time to go to the funeral. I wasn't able to. Yeah, so that broke my heart a little bit, but.
Would that be Bisha or somewhere?
And I was Muslim. We buried the same day, and I just in PEI I couldn't get a flight to go the same day, so I wasn't able to. But yeah, but thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And
I just want to say I'm sorry I have to sign off because I have to get ready for work tomorrow, and it's a little bit late here. But I'm sorry I have to cut it short. But thank you so much, Dr. Marad and Sumant and Gary, brother. Next time I'll come on for sure. Just let me know when.
Thank you so much. I want to bring you when Dr. Ramroop comes back. We'll deal with the medical stuff. All right?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Have a
Good
good
night.
night.
Good seeing you.
All
Yeah.
right.
So,
Good
gentlemen,
night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doc.
Okay.
let's continue the fireworks.
No, Doc,
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, but somehow or the other, we have no party has gotten a second term. None of them,
Right.
other than the PNM. They have gotten second terms
No. But Pandey them
for
got
two
the
years.
second term.
For 2 years.
Yeah,
Up
but they didn't hold it.
they didn't hold, correct.
We have
So,
problem.
you know,
They didn't
I
hold it.
have I was lucky to have a chat with him. He came home by us, young advocate, and I had a chat with him, and he was telling me how about government structure and all this thing, right? And I would say Robinson had relegated him to the Minister of Tourism, right? You're putting your second man in charge of the party, of the government, which is Pandey, and you relegated him to a Minister of Tourism. Pandey told me, he said, I didn't know a heck about tourism, how it operates, nothing about tourism. Yet this man, he should have been, way up the ladder then, so to speak. But Robinson relegated him to the Minister of Tourism. So he said, he used simple management technique. He tell me what he's doing. Every week at a Monday morning, all his managers have to come to him and tell him what he was doing and blah, blah, blah. And till the election came, and that's a whole new story. But Pandey won the election on his own in year 2000, and it didn't hold because the RR and S component within the party, we know who those are,
Mhm.
decided that, you know what, is another Indian man because we are the ones in charge. The Indians are always against Indians. They do like a typical crab in a barrel mentality. That couldn't hold, so that's why it could only last only 2 years, 2002.
Yeah.
Come fast forward to 2025. My hope is just as your hope. I really, really, really wish this current government could go for another 5 years. I really, really do hope so. They are doing a lot of good things and they are trying where they are not succeeding, they are trying. I got to give them credit for that. You know, a couple of the ministers, a large bunch of them are new, so they're feeling their way. Hopefully, in the second 5 years, they will see things differently and more, progress can really happen at a rapid rate. The PNM will take issues or take non-issues and make them into issues. And they're very, very good at it. You quite rightly said, they are stronger in opposition than when they're in government. They do more things. Can you see the feedback of the present scenario, what's happening in the island today? Today means today. See the amount of PNM ministers who have been speaking out. You begin to see there's a wide cross section of them dealing with all sorts of issues, current issues, but they're speaking out. I think when the UNC were there, they were pretty more laid back. Sometimes for 2, 3 weeks, there ain't nothing at all. But the PNM is very vibrant and aggressive when they're in opposition. And you got to learn. We should be learning from their, that model from them.
Yeah.
So,
And
but when
So
they,
you think that this UNC was not aggressive enough in opposition?
correct, yes, that's my view.
I don't agree with you on that. We had some very aggressive action taking place, man. From the senators to, I mean, Saddam
I was gonna say,
Hussein, all these
yeah,
guys were sharing licks like
yeah.
fire.
I was gonna say something just now about about saying that our ministers are not. I think they're doing very, very good because you see, very good. And I want to be careful because you're doing very good because the other party did nothing. So the buy is so low that anything you
No,
do will
but
be
I
good.
say he was referring
And
to
I don't like
opposition.
that. Their standard is no standard to compare. So I want to compare them to a set standard that the PNM will never pass. They will never need. So we are going to go forward, and that is why they're having problem with the UNC. Because the UNC is way up a mile in the sky, and they crab like crab, they're crabbing away, they're crawling away because they belong. Their standard of excellence is so low that it doesn't take much to beat them. And every ministry is beating them, coming and going, every one of them, because they have no standards there. So to follow through what Gary was saying, and then what you said before, I mean, I was going to ask you. The best I could look back and say, I have not heard, or maybe I didn't heard everything, I didn't hear everything, but I have never heard any one of them make a blunder like a blunder, and they had to come up and apologize, or they had to correct them quickly. Or to me, I hardly hear such thing. Is that
Are you
I
referring to
don't
our
think
ministers? Our ministers
yeah,
you talking
I
about?
think all of
Yeah,
them
yeah.
doing what they're supposed to doing, and they kind
They are doing a lot
of
of
course
work,
there's no
man. They are
standard,
doing a lot.
but
But if you
they are the
notice,
best.
if you notice, the investors outside the country is coming after our government. We don't have to go after them. They are coming to us. All right. So everything is being restructured. It's taking a little time, but everything is being formulated. And in a matter of time, you're going to see the economy start to drive. So to say, I mean, you have to understand the level of work that our ministers are doing and where they're coming back from, where they're bringing the country back on their real level of restructuring they're doing because of the level of damages that the PNM caused to the country. It is worse than 2010. The damages that the PNM did economically, socially, and every way form is that it is severely and is worse. This Rowley administration was the worst PNM government ever.
I
Wow.
think they just gave up on the end, Gary. They didn't have no clue how to run the economy.
You talking about Rowley? Not only a matter of clue, they had a
Yeah,
clue how to they had a clue how to waste the money and how to
yeah.
pocket the
And
money and how to abuse the people.
And when it was finished, they had no
And the
more
same
money
people
to
want
do
to
it.
make noise because of whatever reason, race, party, or whatever it is, right? That Rowley did none for them, and they have a prime minister and a government trying to formulate things here so they can have a lasting future for themselves and their children and everything else, and put in healthcare and everything else. You want to make noise and bark at the slightest thing.
That's right. That's their style. That's what I'm saying. They're very vocal as an opposition, much more than the UNC were when they were in the opposition.
so so man, they have the county election coming up, the local election coming up. I don't know how soon, but I'm sure it's gonna come sometime, maybe a year, next year or sometime. I don't
Dr.
know.
Maharaj, adjust your mic. I'm getting a feedback from your mic.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, but I'm not getting a feedback. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still hearing it. I don't know for some reason, all of a sudden.
I don't think I have my phone. My phone is off.
Yeah, I don't know if it's your computer doing it or how it is, but it's getting a echo when you speak. Yeah.
Let me go back and come back in.
Yes, Sumant, you could continue in the meantime.
Yeah, Gary. Even okay, you know, a lot of talk. You've seen how aggressive the PNM is in their campaign. But the things make sense or not. But my point is they have always used
Yeah,
the
well,
race
they're
card.
custom behaving like hooligans.
Yeah, they're using the race card and they're using that deflection, what they are master of it, to just shift the blame or the semantic away from the real issues. Look at what they're going after now, right? Going after the data centers because that is an avenue to propel TND forward as the leading Caribbean nation. right? And even make money from
And
this.
as you know, our prime minister is going after multiple avenues to bring revenue stream back to the country and opportunities, not just the data center. There are several things happening at the same time.
So we have to, she has to govern. She has to govern. Show leadership and to heck with these suckers, man. You do what you have to do. When you were in power, you did what you want. You already never answered to anybody. That doesn't mean she should not answer to, but she should answer when the issues are relevant. You know, not because the PNM says so, you have to respond to any and everything. Okay, we can't build the temporary police post on a gas line. So what? We're doing it. We will do it. Put a 20, 40-foot container, two of them, over anything, over a playground you could do, over a cricket pitch. So what? What is more important? You know, you do that. You don't have to go and get town and country planning approval. These are the things they want you to do, so that the process can be stalled. So once they can stall the process, as they did the FUL, they try to stall this as much as possible. You know, even, well, you know, from the administration right up, let's put it like that. But they do not want to see the UNC move the economy forward. Because anytime that happens and people's lives begin to get better, it will show up what nonsense they were doing for the past 10 years and how they were not able to improve the lives of people. And here's it, the UNC in such a short space of time, but all the difficulties that the PNM have created in the country, because everything was literally crashed in a month. Everything was literally crushed when they were running it. So they gave up. And they say, okay, UNC, you come and clean up the country back and we'll come back in the next 5 years. That is their goal. So they will condemn anything constructive.
And we must do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. You know,
That is the point. That is the point. So you have to implement the structures now to preempt these scams from asking any sort of questions. And that is where I was talking about the social media, the media in general. We have to be upfront, ahead of the curve, so to speak. So you don't give them no ammunition to talk about. They have nothing to argue with or to contend with. You know, I say they're bringing up the issue today on the why are they clearing out a lot of carrying lands. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, a lot of carry lands are being cleared in Pitti Moon 1, Pitti Moon 2, Long Picton. I think that's East constituency. Yes, Picton is. That's where they want to build a data center. One of them in Picton and one on Point Lisas. But
you know, speaking of Carolina, one of the good things I've heard is that they're going to be the lands they're clearing. They're going to be building houses for county workers. That's what they're going to do. So that is for former county workers. Yeah.
Adam who says that, and people are against why is that privilege? This is not a privilege, and this is what the UN.
That's their right. That should at least the government doing something that they should be doing.
This is part of their compensation. The land, it took them 2004. Now it's 2020.
And also, Rowley did not. Government did not allocate the funds that were given by the European Union to them. So we had to find out about it. That's money missing again.
Yeah, 120 million or 120 million euros, from what I understand. So you see, when they were, but it's okay. It's okay to build houses in Maluna and so on. Nobody questions that. NHA houses or HVC houses, as is, you know. But if you do HCC houses in South, in any one of the UNC areas, it is a problem for them. Right? So this is why I say we should be ignoring these type of things. You have to ignore it altogether. People will understand why. And this comes back to my one of the comments I made early on this year, in that people are crying out for houses or land or both, and all over TNT, all constituencies. How come you should only be building apartments, HEC apartments, only in select communities? So people in South don't have need for land as well. People in South, they don't have people homeless, people in South who need apartments and so on to live in. But why are you only doing this in the northern areas, the east-west corridor? What about the people south of the Caroni Bridge? Eh? We have people who are in dire need of homes and so on as well. But you never
Yeah.
hear no HCC projects going on in Oropuj or Laramine and so on. You know where they want to build this? And where Manilal objected?
So we I just saw this here. We have a missing woman, Linda Alexander, 73-year-old of Tamana, was reported missing Monday, August 3rd. They found her dead. All right, the Hunter
Mm.
Search and Rescue Team.
So nobody escapes. Old, young, male, female, whatever. It doesn't matter what age you are. And this is okay for one sector of the economy, one section of the population to accept these things. You know, this is why I may be a radical person, but you know, people caught in these crimes should not last at 1 week in jail. 1 week is the maximum time. Let's introduce Sharia law and get them clean house. So quick TNT becomes the paradise to live in.
And just let me just you hear me now? Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah. So we'll just make a few quick points. Some of them you deal with, and some of them I would also advise you, Sumant, and the UNC people, do not in maybe I don't know how long, but let me say this for this first 5 years. Do not get into the south of the Caroni and north of the Caroni. Because that is the PNM talking point, and you don't want to use that. I would prefer, as the Prime Minister had said, east of the flyover and west, not the flyover, well, the flyover too, that flyover.
The
Yeah, east of,
lighthouse,
east,
lighthouse.
yeah, White House, yeah. I want to, because really the problem really is west of the White House. That is where the decisions are made against the UNC, west of the lighthouse.
Yeah,
That is where the power of the PNM is west of the lighthouse. The voters on the right and the power brokers on the left.
power
And
elites. Yeah,
that is what you want to redefine. In this instance, you want to redefine not south of the Caroni Bridge. That is the PNM talking point. So we don't want to take their talking point. We want to say as the flyover, or you said the lighthouse. The flyover is good enough because the flyover really is just divide. Even better than the flyover. Than. The second point I want to leave tonight again before we go is I want to say this to all of you who listening. The UN. Let me be. I was a heavy politics just now. Let me say this on this business side of it, which Gary had wanted me to make a point of. Let me just make some quick points here on this. Number one, in time to come, in this reign of the UNC, they are going to re-employ many of those people who they let go from the URP, and they will bring them back into the fold, and they will get a job, but a decent job this time. I think they already started doing some of those.
they already did started.
Secondly, they are going to bring, agriculture. They're going to have develop agriculture, so we don't have to depend so much on an import bill for food. We could grow them locally, and therefore import substitution will occur at that level. It has already begun, but you'll see it in a bigger way coming pretty soon. Thirdly, you are going to or something in the oil stream will come on pretty soon. I don't know how soon it will be, but something will have to happen along the way in terms of the oil and oil. As you know, the oil price is still on the rise. It's not going anywhere. It wouldn't go anywhere for a while. And drive the natural gas is also on the pretty much sideways, up and sideways, not very much high up, but it's there also going up. It will get worse if things doesn't turn out well in the Middle East, as you all know. So that's a third thing that will happen for them. And the fourth thing that will happen is that the UNC, all the ministers, that minister who's doing the infrastructure for the technology, from I think Mayor, not Mayor, I forget which one of his constituency he from. But he's also, they will take Trinidad to a better place in terms of technological wise, because they have the infrastructure, they have the people, they have the university trained like yourself, Sumant. They have people like you all who will take this country forward. And I could even go on a few things that will happen, but all these things will happen within the next couple of years. And I think we'll be in a much better place, but we have to have the politics right. Because if we don't have the politics right, all this nice work is useless. So I want to
Because
stop with that.
let me stick up in there. That's the same thing that happened in 2010 to 2015.
Right.
The similar thing, they were building a lot of things, good things. Police stations, health centers, ECC centers, school centers, the introduction of the technology in the school children, the laptops and so on and so on. The nursing training center, El Dorado. A lot of good things were happening. The hospital system was improving and what have you. Right? So, but the politics was not right. Remember, the economics alone will not get you into government. The politics is the number one driver to get you into government, and then the economics follow.
To
The
see the
development
work,
follow.
right. To see your work flourish, you have to have the politics right.
And that must be your number one priority. Your prerogative must be to win the election. Never give the opposition the opportunity to people to even consider them as an option. You have to be so strong politically. And politics will control the economics and control the social structure. So is politics first, economics after, then the social side. And now is environmental. These are the pecking order. So you could have the greatest amount of economics and social development and environmental concerns and so on, but if your politics is wrong, you aren't going to see power. So
you clean the house and you dirty it back and you come back and clean because you didn't get the
Oh,
politics right.
like that. Anybody comes out just says to implement tough measures, you have to clean house. After 5 years, people say, now that the house is clean, they have the broom swept up nicely and so on, let's come back in. Caleb comes back in, do their mess, thief as much as they can do, forget how the country runs. There's no, inducement to build things and to create things and make people's lives better and so on. No. All about filling your pockets. That's all it was. I don't know how this is going to change, but I hope that the younger generation, both Afros and Indos, see it differently so that we could propel the country forward, meaning they have to give the UNC another 5-year term and possibly a few more 5-year terms to see progress. Because UNC is on the right track. I must say that they are on the right track. Most of them are. They're well technology grounded, and I hope that the UTT and so on stick with their plans to educate the new crop of trainees to man the industries which they're planning to do. So the oil and gas sector, the technology and AI center, students coming out of high school with a good grounding education as well. So whenever they join the labor force, they're joining at a more skilled level, technology-wise, of course. So we can look forward to brighter days, but again, should the PNM come back in power, all this is going to take a downward spiral.
And that is where the Trinidad, that is where the Trinidad hello?
Hello, yes?
Yeah, getting some
That is,
feedback from me again there, Doc. I don't know what's going on.
yeah. Yeah, I think they're not working tonight. I don't want to miss just this last point if I could. Um, and just so, even though the way I'm kind of seeing it, and I'm saying this last thing because the UNC is well staffed with a bunch of real great human resource people. You name it, you list the minister, list the MP, and every one of them could stand on their own resume as success people and people with a forward-looking temperament. You look at all of them, you'll see they all have something to give to the country and to the UNC. Look at the minister of agriculture. Look at the minister of the one from Pfizer. I forget his name. And the one from not the one in the beard, the other one, the young one, a very flashy one. He's somewhere in one of the ministries, a minister of something. From Labre, I think he's the Labre guy or the Point Fortin guy.
Oh, yeah, he's an ex-IRE boy, man. He's IRE from my school. Yes, the young guy.
That fella, that's another kind of robot. He ain't easy at all. They think so fast, their brain working so fast and thinking so fast, and they getting it done. Kama Maharaj is well tested fellas. Ilya and Khadija, I mean, well tested. Geraldine Jones, nobody in her class in Trinidad and Tobago. Look at these quality people. The UNC cannot go down. They have to continue. If this doesn't happen, Trinidad is the worst place in the world because they can't be doing this. They can't be talking about the great with steel pan and the great with us, and you're so stupid that you're firing stalwarts, people who could really get you forward, take you forward. You name them, even the boy from Mayaro, young boy, all those are forward looking. They have future, they have bright future ahead of them. All of them. I would write a resume for all of them for the future. Any one of them. None of them is a stumbling block. None of them is a dead weight. None of them. You name any one of them. All of them. But they have their own style. Even the Minister of Health, I mean, he's not a cool guy, but I mean he's trying to get things done himself, you know. What about the Minister of Education? The guy, they have a proven track record, and I recommend it going forward because they have a bright future. They can see beyond the horizon. They can see over the wall, and that is the kind of forecasting you need in a day like the thing like now. So I think the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you gotta like them. You gotta speak good of them, and you really want to have them in your side, and you want to tell them this is the best for you. It might be rough at times, but we'll get you there. Trust us, we'll take you there. And those few words, I would like the ministers and them to really come on board and follow what we say here tonight in this. I mean, they might know it, but they might say Trinidad know everything, but you have to get it going. You have to articulate it. They're taking too long to articulate some of these things. You know.
You have to remember what they inherited to, and that completely broken system. Nothing worked in the country when they came in there. Everything was broken. So I'm sure it will take them a year or 2 or 3 years just to get their feet inside and really understand how the thing works.
But you know what they're saying. So I will stop talking just now. You know what they're saying? You ask for this, you promise this, and now you're complaining. Don't complain. You ask for this, you promise this, and now you're complaining. No.
That is PNM, but you want the building blocks have to be made. The foundation has to be made. So if you see they get a second term, then you will really see the progress.
Yes.
That's second, and not the first term. The first term is just to clean the 10 years of abuse they have abused Trinidad and Tobago. The first 5 years, just to clean house, the amount of crap they have, the CNM has done. It's the second 5 years when we look forward to, and I really hope
you'll see them flourish. We'll continue next night, tonight, another night. Good night.
All right, take care.
Another weekend.
All right, stop. Nice. Gary, let's wrap up then. Hey, Gary? Yeah, just to make the
Dr.
point.
Maharaj skipped out?
Yeah, he comes out.
All right. So we'll say good night, gentlemen. We'll talk again soon.
All right. Sir.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Nice. Take care. Good night. Bye.
Mr. Singh?
लड़की देखी मुंह से सीटी बजे हाथ से ताली लड़की देखी मुंह से सीटी बजे हाथ से ताली साला आइला उस्मा आई गपोरी आले आले मैं खिलाड़ी